This is the printed circuit board for the shutter tester. It is an option which can be used instead of the breakout board from AliExpress. And what you get is the printed circuit board, 4 10-way screw terminals, 2 4-way screw terminals, 2 2-way screw terminals. Then you should have 2 19-way connectors and 1 14-way connectors, and the final piece is a spacer bracket. So if you look at the PCB itself, it's very similar to the breakout board from AliExpress. It has the same pin numbering down here, so you can follow the build guide using these numbers. Additionally, along the bottom here it has extra 3-volt connections and extra 0-volt connections. Has an extra 5-volt connector here, 2 extra 0-volt connectors here, and as well as a 3-volt standard connector there, it's got another 2 3-volt connectors there, which makes wiring simpler. You haven't got to cram lots of 3-volt or 0-volt wires into the same terminal. You can use these instead. On the other side, other than saying J1 there and a little product number there, it's blank. So you may find that you get these connectors in pieces and you need to assemble them yourself, in which case you will get some 3-way connectors and some 2-way connectors. So to make the 10-way connectors, you need to get 2 of the 3 ways and join them together, making sure they lock front and back. You then add to that another 2 of the 2-way connectors. And there, that makes up the 10. That's why they're made. You either buy them 2 and 3 ways and make up multiples, or if you buy a pre-made 10-way, they come up made exactly the same way with that. So you may get them pre-made, you may get them all loose. And for the 4 ways, just 2 ways joined together. So it all needs to be soldered together. Probably the easiest way is to mount all of the screw terminals in, and they all go on the side that says the shutter tester and has the legend on them. And 2 goes in there, and there would be another final 2 in there. Piece of card on there, flip it over and solder all of these. I would recommend using proper 60/40 lead solder, because the lead-free solder needs too much heat. Also try and heat the pad before you hit the leg there, and it just helps the solder flow without overheating the legs. So when they were all soldered on the same side, you put in the 19-way connector and 19-way connector. Now you may notice there's a not connected pin down the bottom, as these holes are 20 but the connectors are 19-way. Different versions of the board may or may not have that extra connector at the bottom, but if it does, mark it not connected NC, just ignore it. These need soldering dead parallel. You could use a piece of blue tack to hold them square, or a piece of hot glue. Flip them over, solder just 1 connector on either end, flip them around and check that you've got it nice and square. If not, it's easy just to reheat a couple of legs. If you've soldered them all and it's crooked, it's very difficult. So that goes on that side, and you would have all of the board on soldered on as well. So in blue piece of fashion, here is one I soldered earlier, and we can see we've got the 2 19-way connectors one hole left blank at the bottom on either side, and our screw terminals. On the other side, we then solder on the 14-way connector, which is for the TFT. So on here, the 14-way connector goes on the side that doesn't have any legends. Later revisions of the board, I'm hoping to actually silk screen on here to say 14-way goes here, 20-way goes here, to make it a little easier. So to recap, here's the board. 19 ways go on this side, and if there's a spare hole it goes at the bottom, and our screw terminals go around here. That is that fully assembled. So depending what options you either printed yourself or ordered directly, you might have a bezel which goes around the screen, and you might have a cutting template as well if you ordered those or printed them. So to assemble, take our ESP32, which must be the 38-pin Node MCU type, which has the correct spacing, push it on there. Then on the back, on goes our TFT screen. Now all the wiring for these pins is now done on the printed circuit board, so you do not have any additional wiring from here round to here, so it cuts all of that out. Now I don't have a box to hand, but if this was the box rather than a template, that would fit on there. You would then fit the bezel over there to keep it nice and neat, and it look like that. So because you have the solder connections here, they are proud of the board. So depending what you ordered, you may get some little plastic spacers. So you would put the plastic spacer there, and then the bolt would go through the bezel, through the top of your project box, through there, and you can put a nut and bolt right the way through. On this side, to make the PCB easier to mount, you get this printed piece, so that fits on there. You'll need to add two small little nuts and bolts through here to bolt this together. Then again, once it's in the project box, you can put the bolt through the bezel, which will then go through there, go through the project box, then through there. Again, you would have the little spacers here on the bolt, then on the back, washer and nut, and then they would all be bolted in to the project box. So that is the printed circuit board for the shutter tester.